Yo, what is going on today, guys? Back here for another discussion video. So today I just wanted a discussion about the possibility of a ban slash limit list in Pokemon TCG Pocket. So as you can see here, I'm in a deck builder and I have 3 cards. So these are the main cards I want to talk about, and basically the reason I want to do this video is just because I'm very interested in the topic myself, and I do think there are just some cards that are poorly designed for the game. So the first thing I want to talk about is the ban list, and I've basically approached this topic twice in videos. One way back in, I think it was Genetic Apex, maybe it was Mythical Island. But basically I made a video talking about should we have a ban list slash limit list, and basically Misty was one of those cards. I do think the other cards I mentioned were definitely just irrelevant nowadays, but Misty is just one of the most broken cards in the game. It is literally the best supporter card if you are playing a water deck. Obviously if you're playing a meta water deck, if you're playing something like a Mamoswine, bro, yes, Misty can help you, but that's just not a good deck at the end of the day. So basically, what is the problem with Misty and why do I think this card need to be banned? Because this is the second time I've talked about this. Also, I've also even suggested a Misty rework, but at the end of the day, bro, I really just think this card is just so broken. And the way it is, I don't think it's going to get reworked. I just don't see that happening. Maybe it will, and I would be very glad, but Misty, the only card that can literally let you auto win on turn 1. So here's just an example from my own video. I literally start first. I have Origin Palkia. They have their Origin Palkia. This is the very first turn. My opponent literally does not get to play the game besides putting their Pokemon down. And I just land 3 heads. And yep, I just win. I just literally auto win the game. Obviously, I still have to attack. But in literally this position, I can knock them out in 2 hits. Because, dude, in those 2 hits, I'll probably land at least 1 heads. And their only counterplay to this is literally to Misty me back on a Magikarp and go in the Gyarados straight away. And you can see me laughing in the face cam. I'm not laughing because I thought Misty was funny. I'm laughing because I just thought the card was so cringe. And I just feel like there's so many good water types, mainly Articuno 18 card trainer card. Obviously Articuno is not the best anymore, but it is still definitely broken when you do land those Misties. And then something like Gyarados and Palkia, being able to go into those Pokemon and do their attacks on the first or second turn, dude, when they're supposed to be quote unquote setup cards, but because of Misty they can literally attack straight away. It just leads to just an unfun game. And it's just honestly, it's a poor game design. Because if you think about something like Brock, we can literally look at it right now, dude. We have Brock. We have 1 fighting energy that we could either put on Onix, which is a Pokemon that doesn't evolve, that has a 3 retreat cost. So if you have Onix and you start with it, that thing is staying in the active spot and it only does 70 damage. Or you could put it on the Golem. Only you could use it when it's in the stage 2 form, and you only get 1. You only get 1 energy, where Misty you could use on any water type. So that means if they ever, okay, for example, Articuno was the best Misty user in Genetic Apex. Yes, that was broken. But at the same time, Articuno 80 damage, whatever. But then you take the Gyarados and then the Palkias that we just keep getting. Misty is just one of the most broken cards in the game, and it literally just lets you auto win the game. And there have been many situations where I'm losing. I'm like, okay, my only out is just a top deck Misty. And I just don't think that's good game design. I just don't think that's good game design, because I feel like you shouldn't just auto win off a card. Obviously, you can say the same thing, oh, I could win this game because I top deck a Cyrus. But the thing about Cyrus is you only can use it in that certain situation where they already have damage. Misty, it's just as powerful late game. It could be the late game clutch you need to just make a comeback that you probably shouldn't have came back on, or you just get an insta win at the beginning of the game. And the only downside to using Misty is sometimes it doesn't work. And then also there's just no counterplay to Misty. Team Rocket Grunt is not a counterplay, because if you're using Misty, most likely you're probably already getting an attack off, or it's going to be in the bench. So you can never Team Rocket Grunt, dude. That's actually going to be impactful most of the time. And also if they pop up Misty, you have to pop up Team Rocket Grunt, bro, and that's just not consistent, and it's not an actual counter. Where something in Yu-Gi-Oh, Maxi, for example, one of the most broken cards in existence, at least there is counterplay to that card of stuff like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and then stuff like Called by the Grave, where the only counterplay to Misty is literally praying that it doesn't work. Or you're playing a water deck yourself and you land a Misty on your following turn. That is literally the only counterplay to Misty. I think this card definitely should be banned. I think it's just poor game design. I just don't think anybody has fun losing to Misty, or even just playing Misty is very cringe. In my personal opinion. And also, I want to turn around Misty. I'm literally going to talk crap about this card. And if they don't ban it, I suggest they rework it to cap it at 1 energy, because if you are a top player and you actually understand and are good at the game, you can understand how just impactful 1 Misty flip is sometimes. I think my previous rework, the saying cap it at 2 minimum, I think 2 is still too much. I think 1 I think 1 because it is on anything. And then you take a look at something like Brock, which is guaranteed 1. Misty, it can be used on any single water type, and there are just so many good water types in the meta. So my second card for suggested ban is Team Rocket Grunt, and why I don't think this card is super oppressive right now, mainly because not everybody is using it. It's not a staple in the meta. You definitely do run into it a decent amount in Master Ball, but so my reasoning for this is just similar to Misty, where like Misty way more broken than this card, because this game obviously, you know, you have to have your opponent has to have something in the active spot with energy, but like it's just poor game design. It's just not fun for anybody involved. Like it's just like okay, I'm losing, let me use my Team Rocket Grunt, dude, and maybe I win because I get lucky. And I just feel like I know there's so many luck and coin flip things based in the game, but as we are progressing, we're getting less and less and like more consistent stuff, especially with the addition of Iono, even though Iono is not the most consistent card. I just feel like if we're going on a path towards consistency, we should just have this cringe card where like, okay, I'm winning. Like, okay, I should probably win this game. Oh, my opponent activates Team Rocket Grunt. They land 3 coin flips and I just lose the game because I have no more energy. I'm on like my last Pokemon. And all of a sudden I literally just can't play the game because I have 0 energy. Maybe my thing needed 3 or 4. Also, it's just not fun because even when you play stuff like non-meta decks and you play in casuals, a lot of people actually use this card in casuals from what I've seen. Then you're playing something fun like Venusaur, for example, dude, and you're like, okay, I spent 2 million turns setting up my Venusaur for 4 energy. Let me go in, I attack once, and then all of a sudden I'm Team Rocket Grunt, I lose 3 energy, and then all of a sudden my Venusaur that I spent the whole game setting up is just now useless, and I'm never gonna probably set up one again. And it's just a very poor game design in my opinion. And it's just one of those cards, not the most played right now, but I feel like in future I definitely could see this card rising up in usage. And I just, like I said, bro, I just don't think it's fun. I just genuinely don't think it's fun. I haven't seen a single person who enjoys losing to this card or enjoys just using it. So that's the reason I just put it next to Misty, because I think they're just very poor game design, and I think the game would just be better off without them existing, in my opinion. So the next offender, and this is not a ban card because I don't think it would be banned. I think limiting would actually solve the brokenness of Giratina. So Giratina ramps itself up, but the thing that makes it so broken is you can splash it into non-psychic decks because it does ramp itself up. But if we do limit it, that does lower the consistency of actually seeing it on our opening first or second turn. And if you're playing it for something like Darkrai Giratina, the best deck in the game, there are many times where if I don't draw Giratina turn 1 or turn 2, I'm never going into Giratina. And that point, it's going to be a solo double or a single Darkrai game. And most of the time, I will just lose in the mirror match or like something because I only could go in the one Darkrai. I won't have a second Pokemon set up. So I think limiting Giratina would make it less consistent. Therefore, maybe all it does is make Giratina being played in only psychic decks. Like it could still be played in something like Mewtwo Giratina. They could just run 2 Mewtwo's instead. I've actually played against that in Master Balls where it was 2 Mewtwo's and 2 Giratinas. Maybe you could do something like 1 Giratina, 2 Mewtwo's. And yeah, I guess you limiting it to 1 would just make it less splashable and make it just less better. As like I said, we'll see it less on the first opening turns, and then if you don't see it in the first opening turns, if you're not playing psychic energy, it's basically useless from there. I don't think it really needs to be banned because I don't think it's the most broken card in existence. I think it's just strong. I think limiting literally solves all of the issues with the card. And yeah, just something I wanted to mention. It's really like, so like I have these 3 cards here for a potential ban / limit, and I'm not the type to just, okay, well, I don't like these cards, I just kind of want them banned. Personally, bro, Giratina Darkrai, bro, is probably like my second favorite deck right now in the meta, just because I really don't have a favorite deck. It's the best deck. It's the top tier deck that feels the best for me because it's very consistent. So I just enjoy playing the deck. And I'm talking about limiting Giratina just because I do know it's not. I know it's not the best card for the game. And then stuff like Team Rocket Grunt, I don't think it's good for anybody. Same with Misty. I mean, I've been a Misty hater, bro. I literally won a tournament with Misty just to prove my point. Some other cards I could probably mention for the limit list. Just I don't really think they need to get limited. I just think they could like potential if we really did want to add a ban and limit list would be stuff like. I don't think there's really any more Pokemon in my mind. Like I guess you could technically say Darkrai because Darkrai is also splashable and like other decks like stuff is like Magnezone. I don't think Magnezone's as strong anymore. Like I think it's definitely a very good card. I just don't think it's like broken as it was during the Dark Zone era. But if we go to like trainer cards, the only ones I could really like potentially say limit. Actually, no, there is one more. Mars. I don't think it should be banned because it is kind of helpful for the game. It does counteract these decks like Giratina Darkrai. I think Mars should be limited. I just think playing 2 Mars is kind of cringe. I don't know. That's basically thinking. If you have 2 Mars, you could use one early game, disrupt your opponent's hand, and then you could just use one late game. And I don't think that's like totally necessary, like deserving of a ban. I just think it's just kind of like, I feel like just why are you even doing that? Because you could play like Mars and red card, for example. You could do that, like theoretically same thing. But if I had to put another limited, I guess I would put Mars, and then like you could argue probably like Cyrus maybe limited too, just because it is very strong, and then maybe like Rocky Helmet. But like none of these other cards I really think. I guess you could also argue maybe red in this meta, but like I think the main offenders, bro, like I said, are just Giratina. Then you could do like stuff like maybe like Mars and Rocky Helmet as additional option. I think Rocky Helmet actually more than Mars, just because Rocky Helmet is one of the most broken cards in the game. But at the same time, you kind of do need it to counteract some decks, or other decks are too strong. So I don't even think Rocky Helmet should be banned or limited. It's just like if I had to pick some other ones, those are probably like the first ones that would be in my mind on the list. Yeah, but basically I just wanted to basically introduce this topic to the channel once again, because I really haven't made one since Genetic Apex. That Misty one was like more of a solo Misty video, but I think obviously there are more cards that do deserve to just kind of like not exist. But yeah, kind of like let me know your thoughts and opinions, because I just love discussing stuff like this. And like I said, I do come from Yu-Gi-Oh, so I am more used to the banning and limiting environments, where like if you only play Pokemon Pocket or you come from Pokemon. I know Pokemon like barely limits or bans stuff, only if it creates like maybe like really broken combos or like loops, from my understanding. That could be wrong. I'm just not super in tune into the live TCG game. Yeah, but anyways, that's everything I wanted to share. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys believe. If you guys believe a card should be banned that I didn't mention, maybe like a Pokemon, because I really don't have any in my mind in this meta specifically. Like if it was last meta, bro, I would have said limit. I would have said limit Dialga, because I think Dialga was the problem for Arceus. I think Arceus, the other variants were fine. It was just mainly Dialga Arceus. Then if you limit Dialga, it lessens your chance, kind of like similar to Giratina, seeing it on your first turn, so you can't like insta ramp up Arceus. Anyways, that's it for the video. Peace out and have a lovely day, guys.